you know, if Bravo high rolls hits those activations, they're a tough deck to race.
You know what actually makes it a little tougher to race as well? That new errata on Briar only making that one
That's a great point,
token per turn here. Because here's the thing. You can attack with one of your cards with Dominate, but if I've got 4 Earth tokens, like I'm just going to block with my one card block 7 or block 8, along with those things. But that's not anything that we can do anymore with Briar. And, we've got a big attack here happening on the first turn.
Yeah. Pat Eshghy starting things off right with a break ground. Going to go ahead and get the Bravo activation on that. Going to force through that early damage that we said is so, so critical when you're acting first on turn 1.
That was really important. I want to bring this up early. We see what shield has been chosen here. It does look like it is the ice shield here, one that you and I say that we probably play a little bit too much, but is this one of the matchups where we really want it?
Oh, yeah. This is the slam dunk Stalagmite matchup. It's very, very strong against Briar. Briar wants to just operate using no resources. Now, granted, this isn't the old Tarek Patel Lightning Briar where it's just zeros, essentially. We do have some expensive cards in Channel Mount Heroic, and to go with that, there are some blues, so you're able to pay for things occasionally. You see Force of Nature, good example of a blue.
Yeah, so we got our Guardian Tome into a Force of Nature that is fused. Now, you might want to read this one home. This one's a wordy one. And then we see a embodiment of lightning here as well. And we see a Grasp of the Arknight getting activated as well here. So I don't know if we're going to actually get in any attacks, or we're going to just make sure we're getting this Rune Chain in for an attack beforehand. Let's see. This is going to be a Swarming Gloomveil. It's going to have double go again here.
Yep. Yeah, not super useful, but is able to trigger that second ability of Swarming Gloomveil. So it's going to get +1, and that is going to go ahead and trigger the Force of Nature should it hit. And maybe the snowball starts from there. That's the scary thing about this Briar deck on Force of Nature turns. You don't really know what they're going to do to you.
Yeah, so the original Briar deck, right, the Tark Patel one, that one snowballed just from any amount of cards in his hand because it's going to play all of them. This one is more of a, I've got to piece the things together deck. It's got to have everything kind of work together. But this is a Swarming Gloomveil for 5, like you said, with a really, really good on-hit. So we're going to start off over on Pat's side on the defense. We're going to make that only going to be 4 because we've got an activation of Crown of Seeds. Let's see if he's going to have a block here. Maybe an equipment piece comes out as well.
Yeah, might want to already saddle up that Stalagmite nice and early to put some pressure on resources from Sam. But it looks like it's just going to go ahead and let the Rune Chant hit.
No, I think he actually activated his boots here.
Okay, yeah. Does have the Null Rune boots ready with a little bit of Arcane Barrier. That makes sense.
Looks like he's going to line up a block here. Very interested to see exactly how he's going to block here. It's going to be 1 card from turn and give him a Frostbite.
Was reaching for that Stalagmite. Yep, there you see it. It's going to be Electrify and Stalagmite blocking. All that together. Going to be a clean block on that Swarming Gloomveil. Deny the card draw from Force of Nature.
Yep.
And give the Frostbite to Sam Dando.
And this Frostbite is probably going to effectively end Sam's turn and send him right to the Arsenal phase.
How do you feel about that turn if you're Sam? I think it's still net positive. You took out a very important resource in the Stalagmite. You didn't quite go off maybe the way you expected to, but anytime you're getting resources from the Bravo player, that's usually in your favor.
Yeah, I think I think you kind of nailed it there because this is a Force of Nature turn, and that's one of your big, powerful cards. The thing is, you can't really sit on it as a Briar player. You kind of have to play the cards you're given.
Very true.
And with the way that hand was constructed, he wasn't going to have a big, big turn unless Pat let him. So I definitely like the fact that, he got some he didn't get any damage here, but he got some resources taken away, like you said. Do you believe that shield should have a negative on it here as well?
We'll make sure that happens.
Looks like we've got a Warm 4 coming in today.
No Frostbite token going to be delivered alongside that Winter's Wail.
Yeah, Sam, is he going to be doing any blocking in this matchup?
Well, look, he doesn't want to. Bravo has a way of dictating its will on its opponent, though. And if things get out of hand too quickly, Sam may be forced into blocking. Really just wants to queue up that Channel Mount Heroic turn and go big or go home. Blast his opponent just off the table in one fell swoop.
So I've actually played this matchup quite a bit. I've got a friend back home, plays a lot of Briar. We tested a lot for the Pro Quest, and I definitely felt ahead with Bravo. But like you said, any of the turns where they had a Channel Mount Heroic out for maybe 1 or 2 turns or played 3 cards after that, those are the games where I found it very difficult to win.
Yeah, and I don't want to sleep on Sam Dando. He's 6-0 right now.
Obviously, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and I guarantee there's been some Bravos along the way. Here comes another Force of Nature turn. Let's see if this one's a little bit bigger than the last.
It's going to be fused yet again, so checking that box. This is a Nimbleism. This is going to create a embodiment of lightning. So the next attack's going to have go again here, plus it's going to be pumped up quite a bit. This is a Coax of Commotion for a ton of damage here. It's going to have an on-hit, but we don't know what just yet.
Yeah, that'll be up to the players to decide Let's see what exactly happens in the aftermath
By
of
the
this
way,
Coax.
we are contractually obligated to when a Coax of Commotion gets played, we need to do a little dance here in the booth.
I tell you what, Tannen, I'm going to do a spectacular dance. Give me 2 seconds. So you couldn't see it at home. I literally just moonwalked all around our broadcasting area and then finished it with a backflip into a split. It was spectacular.
I'm not going to lie, the split was the most impressive spot.
I know.
It even got some claps from the director over there as well. So I was about to say, it was really, really impressive at home. Next time we'll make sure that we bring the camera back into the booth.
Yeah, we'll get it on camera before the week's over.
That totally happened.
I know.
Yeah,
it was great.
I was there.
Looks like that Coax did go ahead and hit. It's going to put an embodiment of Earth onto the battlefield.
And let's see what mode Sam wants to choose here. Now, this is a Modi card, a bunch of different ones. It looks like draw a card is going to happen. Oh, I'm sorry, he's drawing the card from the Force of Nature here. Let's see. I think he gets to draw the card from the Force of Nature, then choose the modes on Coax. So It looks like Quicken tokens for both. I do love that is a beat to hell Quicken token.
Massacred Quicken token.
It looks like it's in a black hole. It's like just collapsing on itself.
Crumpling it on itself, sure.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite things about this game, the customization people have put into their stuff, into their tokens.
You
absolutely
see
love
beautiful decks around the room, just absolutely beautiful, be it cold foils or, like you said, customization
I
alters.
think I see possibly a gold foil down here on Pat's side.
Maybe.
That's brand new. Maybe a Procus winner himself, or he went out and got himself one of those as well. Gotta love the nice gold foils in this game.
Second Nimbalism coming down here.
This is going to be one of those turns where it feels like, did you play 8 cards this turn? Because it definitely feels like it. Here we go.
That could be the end result. That Snatch is going to go ahead and pop that Quicken token, so it's going to have go again.
This is for at least 7, and it's going to have an on-hit draw card as well. It's going to have 2 draw cards on hit as well, from the Snatch and from the Force of Nature.
Yeah, Sam's kind of doing it right now. This is a big turn.
These are the draws that can win games from Briar without using Channel Mount Heroic. These are the ones, and you just have to hope that your deck works away. All right, looks like we're going to have a activation of Crown of Seeds. So that's going to block off 1 of the damage here. We've got 2 resources floating. Still got that Crater Fist at 2. Still got 1 from that Ice Shield. So we've got a little bit of extra blocking here from Pat, because these are the turns you really have to worry about. You could take the generic damage, maybe shrug off a little bit of it, but these are really big, powerful on-hit effects.
Yeah, you know what I'll say, though, Tannen? This would have been a great situation to have Rampart of the Ram's Head as well. And quite frankly, the Stalagmite isn't going to be able to do anything to stem the bleeding here. Too many cards have been drawn, I believe, but it still looks like Pat's going to go ahead and try it, push Stalagmite forward alongside 2 other cards, making a pretty wholesome block here.
Yeah, it looks like the Frostbite is received from Sam here. It does look like I think that was a full block, because I do believe that was an attack for 7.
Let's see how that affects the rest of Sam's turn. It was an attack for 7.
Thank you, Sam. We really appreciate that. Let's see if he can still pay for something, because that's a Revel in Runeblood. Makes some...
They're going to go ahead and make some Rune Chant tokens there. Now, those are going to be destroyed at the end of the turn. But it looks like we have a resource floating here, and we're going to use Rosetta Thorn to go ahead, get in for some split action.
Yeah, I was double-checking that myself. I was pretty sure these go away at the end of the turn. I didn't know that we had any floating resources. It looks like it's going to be Rosetta Thorn attacking for 2, 2, and 4. The 4s are single instances, so those are a little easier to deal with those boots, but the 2 is going to be a little harder since the Seed's already activated. And this was a big turn from Sam. Got through a lot of cards, a lot of resources. Pat, down to 27, no longer has a shield. He does have a Quicken token here, though. I don't know how many cards he left in. I think 2, so I don't think we're going to be able to really utilize that. Tunic up to 3. These are the big turns here. We'll see if it's maybe just like attack, arsenal, and pass. Oh, wow. He's actually going to activate Starvo here with those 2 cards.
Didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah, that's not what I expected this turn to be. Let's see if he wants to attack with this as well.
Is there a follow-up?
Oh, there's a third card container. Here we go. Spinal Crush.
I mean, look, given what Pat faced on that last turn, for Pat to be at 27 and for the answer to be a fused Spinal Crush, that's absurd.
Yeah.
That's a really big swing in Pat's favor.
Yeah, exactly. Now, not only is this just 11 damage, this on-hit crush effect, is pretty big in this matchup.
Oh,
too, right?
yeah. Go again is everything for the Briar player. They want their turns to go as wide as possible. So, in most scenarios, if you're Sam, you'll say, okay, I'll just blunt some of this damage here. I'll line up a bunch of my cards. This says Dominate, though, from the Bravo Fuse, and you're just not going to have that many good defensive options here.
Yeah. Does get a little bit of a buff on the Tome here. It's going to block for an extra 1 because of that embodiment of Earth here. So I believe this is blocking for 4.
Tome, I believe, is defense 2. So we're going to go up to 3 with the addition of the embodiment of Earth. I believe.
You might be right here. It's been a while since I've had Tome of Harvest in my deck.
Yeah, I play a lot of Tome of Harvest. Like I said, Earthlore Bounty. I can't get away from it.
Yeah, let's say this is definitely a Brian card here.
Yes. Yeah,
much less a Tannen card.
Yeah, so good response there from Pat, I think. And, as far as how these early turns have gone, Sam has done his thing, burned 2 Force of Natures. We're always looking at what resources have been burned in the matchup. Got the shield for it. So I don't want to say that Sam got nothing. I do think those are fruitful turns for Sam, but I also think Sam would prefer to be a little bit further ahead given how well they went.
Yeah, no, this is an Twine Lightning attacking here for Sam. Don't forget, he's under Crush this turn, so he can't get Go against. That's why you're going to see him kind of just arsenal and pass here with cards in his hand. Made me look like a weak turn. That's because his hand isn't going to function the way that he wants it to. Pat shrugging off that 3. I was about to say, I got to believe this is going to be at least a decent turn from Pat. And yes, it's going to be a big one. This is an Oakenold Fuse. This is going to be 9, Dominate, on hit, get 2 cards out of your hand.
Big swing back from Pat. And again, Bravo just showing what it can do with fairly low resources. I mean, this is a 3-resource attack. 9, Dominate, put 2 cards on the bottom of your hand. That's absurd. That's absurd output. Probably the best output for any attack in the game, I would say.
100%. And then here's the other thing on top of it. He's still got 2 cards left in his hand. He's going to be able to arsenal. He's got 3 resources on his Tunic, so he's going to be able to activate his Crown of Seeds and go into a 5-card hand next turn.
Absolutely.
So the next hand is probably going to be very good as well.
Yeah, good chance of also activating that Bravo when you're going to 5 cards. So I think things are looking good thus far for Pat.
Absolutely. Let's see if Sam can get out of this. Now, he does have an embodiment of Earth here, so he can soak up an extra damage here, but the problem is there's just so much of it coming, and he's going to be losing cards away from his hand as well. And it looks like he's just going to go ahead and take it. Doesn't want to give up a card here. So of these 4, he's going to get to keep 2. He's taking the 9 down to 15. I kind of like this. This feels like a risky play, but one of those ones like I want to try to win instead of not lose.
I think you're right. And I have to assume that like there's some theoretical combination of hands here from Sam that he's happy to play back with, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, he is down to 15, but Pat's still within he's at 23. This is a reachable goal from some of Sam's hands, but we're going to have to see how much he can do with a 2-card plus Arsenal hand here.
Yep. I would say this is probably a transitional hand. I'm not expecting huge output from Sam here, just trying to get to the next turn and then maybe put something together. Although Sting of Sorcery can produce a lot from very few resources and combines very well with Ravenous Rabble.
Yeah, it looks like that was an Amulet of Earth that got revealed here, so Ravenous
Not
Rabble
a
is
great
attacking.
reveal.
No, that's a really, really bad one. It's going to go ahead and make Ravenous Rabble only attack for 2 here, but with the Sting of Sorcery, it's going to add 1 Arcane. 2 cards that really had their day in the sun with the Taric version, but have come down a lot since then because of the way these decks have to be built now.
Yeah, still an important part of the strategy, but you're less focused. One of the big things Taric's version could do is that when decks adapted to beat that really go-wide lightning style of Briar, and they would try and do it usually with defensive reactions, maybe even fatiguing a Briar. Sting of Sorcery made that really hard. You just set up massive Sting of Sorcery turns, and there was nothing an opponent can do.
Yeah, I remember Sting of Sorcery turns where they were dealing 4 or 5 damage from the 4 or 5 attacks. You were getting infinite embodiment of Earth token, so your 1 card could block for 7 on the next turn. The best attacking deck also was the best blocking deck, and that might have been a problem.
Yeah, it was a problem. Briar, very dominant in its day.
Awakening getting pitched for some resources here. Looks like he's going to go ahead and take away that Sting of Sorcery's sting from the arcane damage from the Null Rune boots here. Still got 2 floating. I think maybe he's got the shield as well from the Crown of Seeds.
Correct.
So he's down to 22 here.
Any follow-up here from Sam?
Doesn't look like it. Looks like it could be an Arsenal and pass and go back up. Is this one of the matchups where you need to start setting up 5-card hands and 4-card hands?
I don't know if you need to. I think you have access to a diverse range of game plans, but definitely there's a point where Sam needs to start turning the corner pretty aggressively, this Oakenold is not going to help. Sam knew what was coming.
He started putting his hand out. He's like, which ones do I keep? And this is what you and I talked about earlier today. The way the Starvo decks are built, whenever Starvo gets activated and then there's an Oakenhold behind that, it's almost impossible for it to not also be fused that turn.
Yeah, that's the haymaker for this deck. Certainly you can go bigger. You can do the 16-point pulverizes. You can have explosive go-again turns. Sure. But
for my money, this is the best.
I agree with you. Because there's always such a good follow-up. I mean, it's possible that Pat comes out of this turn not only with this Oakenhold having hit, maybe a Winter's Wail on top of it, and maybe still a card in Arsenal. Like, that is an absurd amount of output.
And Sam going to be in the same position that he was last turn. Here's my hand. I'm going to go down to 4. Which 2 do I keep? And then we'll see from there.
Getting real dangerous for
Dice,
Sam.
we need you to cooperate here and not roll a 5. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. All right. So those 2, it looks like, are going to go to the hand. Those 2 are going to go to the bottom here. Sam's still with an Arsenal, so this is a 3-card hand, but this is a tall order, and Pat's turn's not even done yet.
Yeah,
this
follow
is
up
an evergreen.
Bigger than even that Winter's Wail. And I like it given Sam's life total. It's effectively better than a Frostbite because it's going to eat all of this equipment for a block.
Yeah, so it just forgoes the Arsenal slot, but like you said, you like the fact that just getting the extra 3 attack this turn is that important?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, back over to Sam. What can you do with these 3 cards here? I asked somebody earlier to impress me, and they did over the span of that round. So Sam, impress me. Let's see what you can do here. Sonata can get some stuff done.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of extra juice into that Sonata. Really looking for a 2-2 split here is Sam. Good start. Okay.
Oh, I was about to say, really could have gotten lucky.
Really close.
So snatch out of the hand here. 1 arcane damage is floating around on Pat here. How does he want to start his turn? No Arsenal here, so doesn't have the Crown Plus boots kind of thing here, but it looks like he's just going to take it. If Pat's just taking it, few things, right? Life total's high enough that he feels comfortable, or is that kind of scary from the hand?
It's both. I mean, it's honestly both. There's no pressure on Pat to go ahead and protect the life total here, and it's scary because that could mean a Bravo fuse, but even if it doesn't, it's still scary because it means that Pat has something worth doing. There's some way that Pat is going to sculpt the hand to try and come in for some substantial either disruption or damage. I'll say Sam made a lot out of this. This snatch could potentially give an Arsenal on the next turn. It looks like we're going to see a Blizzard instead.
Oh, wow. That's actually big here because even if Snatch doesn't hit, he still had the go again to go into the Rosetta Thorn for 2 and 2 here. Now that plan's off as well. So what I think is going to happen here is Pat's actually going to take this damage, it looks like, from the Snatch. Let him draw the card, let him Arsenal it up, because no go again here. That was almost like getting to block with a shield again that turn.
It really was. An interesting decision. I mean, I could see the benefit of just like soaking up all that damage, but you see a second copy of Blizzard. That means Winter's Wail is going to come in uncontested. Not a huge turn there from Pat. I think looking for a little bit more, obviously within range of closing out the game there.
Now, this is going to be for a cold 4, so if any damage does get done to Sam, he's going to get the Frostbite. Pat, with 2 cards left in his hand, you got to believe there's going to be an Arsenal and a pass after this, and then there's going to be possibly some Seeds of Agony. I'm sorry, Seeds of Agony. That's not what's going on anymore. Crown of Seeds.
Pat would be out of the tournament real quick if there's any Seeds of Agony going on. For multiple reasons.
I'm having flashbacks to Las Vegas last year.
Sure, I hear you.
I felt like every game was all right. Seeds of Agony into Seeds of Agony into Seeds of Agony.
Heck of a card was Seeds of Agony.
We miss you. I do. You could do without it?
I'm good.
Yeah, you're good? Okay.
I'm fine.
I think they should have just made it, like, legendary. You get 1.
No seeds. Not necessary. Look, the Rune Blades are still great. We still see plenty of Briar throughout the day. We've seen Viscerai look very strong.
Chain was putting up some decent results.
Yeah,
here
Chain's
as well.
around. We haven't had a lot of Chain in our feature match area thus far, but it is present, and we'll see it on day 2.
It's been our backup match, I think, for about 2 rounds today, and the ones that we haven't had time to get over with. We've had some of the longer matchups. Sam, don't mind taking a little extra time here on his turn because this is the penultimate turns of the game. He needs to figure out how to block correctly, plus actually start presenting some real threats to Pat here because Pat's at the point where he could just start shrugging off a lot of the damage and just keep attacking. This does look like this is going to be a full block here, but that's a pummel.
The red pummel out of nowhere, and you see a shake of Sam's head, and that is going to do it. Pat with the clutch pummel coming through. We talked about it to start our day 10, and the first card we sat down and talked about was pummel, and saying maybe there's room for pummel to again have influence over this metagame. It's something that's fallen out of favor in these Bravo builds. You saw its impact there, though, just stealing a game out of nowhere.
Absolutely. There's been some fair